So if you watch my daily financial news, on January 16th, I called the housing bottom. Yes, folks, I believe this Friday, which will be the 20th of January, we will get the low for existing home sales. Last month was 4.09 million. Experts are saying 3.95 million. I'm actually calling 3.87 million. None of that really matters. I think this report will be the low for transactions. I think we go up from here, and I think it's going to drive people crazy. Now, I don't think it's going up a lot, but I do think December 2022 will be the low for housing transactions. And have this conversations, I got the one and only Greg Dickerson with me. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Michael. Good to see you.
So what do you think of that crazy call? December 2022 will be the low for existing home sales at roughly 3.9 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Interest rates are coming down. We should start to see inventory stacking up. We're going into the time of year where inventory increases. It might take a little longer for those transactions to occur. Days on market might go up, but if prices continue to correct, rates come down, inventory builds, then that's what you need to drive transactional activity. The reason we haven't had any transactions is because, the time of year, it's seasonal.
Yeah.
People pulling houses off the market, things like that. But if you're watching inventory levels around the country, they're starting to rise. Again, rates are coming down a little bit, not enough to where it's going to really drive activity. But anytime you get rates, down a percentage point or so,
They are, yeah.
People are going to jump because they're going to want to lock in before they jump up again. But you need more inventory to drive that. So I think if we start to see more inventory come into the market, we'll definitely be able to get some more transactions. I'm not seeing it at scale in every market, but we're seeing it in some markets.
Yeah, I think the housing market, as you know, and we'll just say it because so others here, there's no one housing market. Even in your area, I think there's three housing markets, right? There's luxury, there's move up, and there's first time home buyer. I think it's very clear that most of the country's luxury market is dormant, dead. I talk to agents in Orange County and Seattle every week, Vegas every month, and all of them are saying the same thing, right? The luxury stuff is not moving. Orange County has 100 days on market, according to an agent I speak with there. Then there's the move up market, which we have a lot of interest rate lock in. Rates have to come down probably in the low fives, high fours to really unlock that. However, where markets are changing already in January is the first time home buyer. That move from 733 or 738 to now 6.07 is meaningful. And you add on top of that a 2-1 buy down or, paying points, you can get something in the mid fives. That's going to help first time home buyer activity. I'm already hearing from agents 15 days into January. Open houses are a bit more attended. We're getting more offers. The activity is picking up in that part of the market. So I feel pretty good about my call that the housing crash and transaction bottoms with what will be Friday's report. So, and again, I don't think it explodes higher. We're not going back to 6.5 million, but our time below 4 million will be short lived. It'll be 1 month.
Yeah. All you need is one more transaction and you got it.
There you go. That's right. Just one more. I was right. There's the bottom.
Yeah. One more extra. But yeah, no, I mean, and it's seasonality. I mean, when you just look at seasonality and the other dominoes that are falling and lining up, it would make sense that you should see more transactional activity. We're coming into the busy season for the housing market. And, generally, again, inventory should stack. And these things that you're talking about is so interesting because 100 days on the market, I mean, used to be average. 90 days to 180 days used to be average days on market, forever in the country.
Certainly for luxury.
Yeah. 4.5%, 5.5% interest rates. That was great. That was a great rate. So that's getting more back to norm. The problem is prices still haven't backed up enough to catch up with everything. Incomes haven't grown enough over the last year to catch up with the price inflation in housing. So and that's the other thing. So when you think about the reverberations of the economy, so people will say, okay, rates came down a little bit, houses are a little bit more, let's go ahead and do it, we'll just cut back over here. So that first time home buyer, that move up buyer, they're the ones that are going to say, we need a house. So we have choices. We can go out to eat, once or twice a week. We can go to the movies. We can take a vacation, or we can buy the house that we need for our kids and our family to grow. So that's where you're going to see more trickle down into the, or
real economy.
I call it more liquidity sucked out of the economy by the consumer that should affect some sort of spending. Because what a lot of people don't think about before they buy that first house or that move up, what's the cost to maintain it? If I'm moving up, well, my taxes are going up, my insurance is going up, my utilities, all these other things that cost for a move up buyer. And then first time buyers like me, when I bought my first house, I bought a builder spec house. It didn't have curtains. It didn't have appliances.
All that stuff
I didn't,
costs. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I sat down with the mortgage person. I was in my 20s. I had no clue. We're talking about pity. I'm like, what's pity? You pity me because I'm a fool for buying this house, or what's this pity about? And and then they, they didn't tell me what your utilities and this, that, and the other. They did taxes, insurance,
Sure.
and the payment, but they didn't say you needed curtains, you needed appliances, you needed electronics, you need all these things. So what do we do? We go out to, back then it was Circuit City. It wasn't Best Buy, it was Circuit City. We go there and we buy, appliances and electronics and Sears, and we go get curtains, and we, oh, it's only $10 a month. Oh, that's only $50 a month. Oh, that's only $20 a month. Next thing you know, we had no extra money.
God. Yes, it's all gone.
I mean, my wife was a teacher. She was making $23,000 a year. This is 1990 when I bought my first house. It was a $135,000 house, or 130, something like that. We bought it on a 3-2-1 buy down. First year was 9 3/4. Oh no, first year was 7 3/4. Next year was 8 3/4. Third year was 9 3/4. So we could afford it and get into it. And I tell you, we went in there, took on $20,000, $30,000 worth of debt. I wasn't making 20 grand a year at the time. She was making 20 grand a year, but it was a $100,000 house. So it wasn't all that bad, but
it's
where
really
it all started, man.
Yeah, so that's actually kind of all of that is why I don't think housing explodes higher, either in transactions or price, is because I think we have a lot of supply not coming on the market because of interest rate lock-in. I think we have an affordability is terrible today. I'm not confused. I understand math, but I also understand that there's three variables, right? There's price, there's interest rate, and there is wages. I think we have 3 to 4 years of wage inflation ahead of us, which over time will help the first-time home buyer actually afford housing. So I don't think there's an epic crash coming in national home prices. I'm sorry, I don't. And I think the crash in transaction ends on Friday. So I think we're just in a boring slog, 3.9 to 4.2 million transactions, and prices are relatively stable again for the median. I think if you want a deal in housing, Greg, buy a luxury home. I think there will be luxury homes that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 off because there's just no buyers. Everybody's scared. So, but I don't think that's coming. I
agree. And, I think the big thing is the wages. That's what really needs to catch up to housing. So those two need to come together to really, create that opportunity.
And it's going to be 2 or 3 years. It's wages. They don't increase quickly, but they are sticky, right? They don't typically go down.
And again, you're talking about national averages. So we're not talking about,
national median average. Yes.
Right. So that's very different than your neighborhood, your city,
of course.
Whole different ballgame. I mean, there are areas where you're seeing 30, 40% corrections in pricing. There are, certain neighborhoods where you're seeing that. And then other areas where stuff's still selling in days for numbers that you're like, what?
Yeah. Do yourself a favor, get your buy box, look at your market. I find it very fun and entertaining to look at this because I've looked at it for 23 years now.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm making dirt, baby, because the builders, once they work through everything and, start exiting what they had, the only way out of this situation for inventory is going to be to build it. So I agree with as that. Prices correct, commodities are coming down, as the building
lumber's way down.
Prices recheck. And I've been through this several times. There used to be a saying in the building business, it's feast or famine. It always has done this, always. And, you go through these underbuilt, overbuilt, overbuilt, and it's all about, cost, and it's all about availability. So that is going to be the next big push. And, for me personally, moving forward, in terms of my, I don't tell people what I do or the moves I make because I don't want to influence anybody, but I'm telling you, builders are going to be hungry for dirt. Some of them are right now in certain areas, but that's going to be a good space to be in, as we move forward to develop inventory in the housing market. Because the only way to get out of it, you got to build your way out of it.
You got to build your way out. You do a lot of amazing stuff on YouTube. Where should we send people to follow you? Because you document everything.
Yeah, gregdickerson.com. That's where it's at. Go check it out.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.